Hi, I'm Norman A. Hood, financial advisor and host of the Exit Plan Show. I interview America's top advisors, like today's guest, Blain Wease of Provincial Development Group. To help business owners enjoy more freedom, grow companies faster, transition ownership seamlessly, and create lasting legacies. Welcome to the show, Blain.
Thanks, Norm.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
We're going to start out. I'm just going to have you introduce yourself to our audience and tell them about your career path.
Okay. I'm happy to do so. And first of all, thanks for having me on, and I'm looking forward to this.
Good.
So I'm a native of Toronto, and I started my sales career in the cellular phone industry at the entry-level kind of down-the-street position, and have always been in some sort of sales position. Transitioned into several sales leadership positions, and ultimately always knew that I wanted to have my own company. So when we were in Colorado Springs in 2004, I founded the Provincial Development Group. We've had a couple different variations of the company, but I'm really happy about where we're at today and the work that we're doing. So in essence, it's been sales, business development focused, leadership focused, and very entrepreneurial.
Okay. As far as your close friends, how do you think they would describe you personally?
Well, that's probably a better question for my wife, since she's not here. I think creativity is one of my biggest gifts. Given the nature of my work, the ability to come in as a third party, completely independent of the situation, and be able to take what I've learned in multiple industries from multiple companies and apply that in a very innovative and creative way. I think that's one of the things that people would say. Another thing I think people would say is I've got the courage to see an idea in the marketplace and act on it and grow something. An example of that might be I founded in 2012 the Nashville Leadership Luncheon in partnership with Bridgestone Arena and our local NHL team, the Nashville Predators. And that's been a really fun journey to be on, a lot of work. But not only is it helping businesses, but it's I think making a difference in the community in terms of talking about leadership issues and what that looks like in the real world.
Okay. Can you explain to us a little bit more about what Provincial Development Group does?
Sure. We've got 4 spokes on our wheel, if you will, of our suite of services. So the first is we provide interim and fractional executives.
Okay.
The model there is halfway in between consulting, which is primarily an advisory role, and a full-time W-2 position. We found a niche in the marketplace where companies that were looking for more than advice, but were actually looking for experiential executive leadership that could come in and help them deliver results, but not necessarily on a full-time W-2 basis. That's our first spoke on the wheel, and that's focused on 2 areas. One is growth, and the second is leadership and the overall health of the company. Okay. The second spoke on the wheel, which ties more specifically into this program, is transition planning, and we focus on 2 types of transition. The first is the sale of a company. We would come in typically 12 to 24 months before a company was ready to sell and look at all of the functionality to see where it's positioned for a successful sale. A lot of times the owners are ambitious about what they want, but their company's really not in a place to be able to achieve the kind of return that they're looking for. The second is, and this is a little more unique, but it's a situation, Norm, where someone wants to retain ownership of the company but have someone else come in and run day to day. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong in that scenario, so we help position people to do that successfully. The third area is I do speaking events across the country and a little bit internationally on business development and business leadership. And then the fourth area is the partnership I have with the Nashville Predators, with the Nashville Leadership Luncheon, and what we're doing locally with that.
Okay. So you have a lot of different services, and that may be the answer to this next question about what differentiates you from other firms that are similar.
Sure. Well, I think there's a couple things that come to mind on that. The first is our interim and fractional leadership model is very unique. Really, I don't know of anyone else in this area that does what we do in terms of that service offering. So that's one thing that I think is different. And then I think the other aspect of what we do that's different, whether it's speaking or the luncheon, is I'm not a professional speaker, but I really enjoy it. But we're able to take what we've seen in real life and what we know really works and talk about that or help other companies. So it's a very practical. We're not theoretical. We're not coming at it from a educational theoretical standpoint, but we're talking about things that really work, that we've tried, that we've seen success with in the marketplace.
Okay. Is there anything you like to do more than anything else with all this? If you could pick one part of your work, is there just one area you really, really like the best?
Well, there's a couple different ways I could answer that, but the thing that I'm most sincerely interested in is if you've got a business and you've been struggling with X, Y, or Z, and I'm able to come in from the outside and draw on all the experience that I have, and I've in some fashion or another been able to work with more than 5,000 companies in my career. And I can put together a solution that helps you move past a hurdle that perhaps you've been facing for months, years, decades. There's nothing quite so rewarding than that, because I can see a company, your company started here, and now you're here, and I played a little part in that advancement. And advancements in business are dynamic because they affect a lot of people. I mean, they affect the employees you have, they impact the customers, the clients that you have, they impact the family of the owner. So it's very rewarding. I mean, I won't go too far into this, but I've had spouses of clients come to me and say, I have a better husband or a better wife because of your work. Or I've had a client come to me and say, wow, my family's in better condition because some of the things that you help me with in the marketplace are helping us at home. So, you can't put a price on that. I would do that for free. Not that I want anyone to know that.
Well, it sounds like you're in the right place. So my last question along this line is, there's a big common thing today is asking people what their why is. I mean, why did you? And it's interesting, you started out in the cellular phone area and now you progressed into this. So why is this the area you settled on that you want to spend the rest of your time at?
Well, that's a great question. My why is pretty simple. I love helping entrepreneurs and business owners advance their business in a healthy, sustainable way. It's very much back to what I just said. And it's really holistic. I think better companies happen because of better people. It's a very basic philosophy. So if I can help a leader become a better person, then I can help a company become a better company, ultimately become a more valuable entity and contributor in the marketplace. And that's my why. I love to be a part of that process.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you an opportunity to help business owners right here. Okay. They watch our show for one of 3 or 4 reasons. They're looking for a way to take a little more time off. Sometimes their spouse is behind them on that.
Sure.
They want to grow their company faster. They want to transition ownership either to a third party or to a family member or a company employee, something of that nature. And sometimes they're having a hard time redefining their purpose after they leave their company. They're not quite sure. They may have known what their why was when they were at the company, but now they're having a hard time.
Sure.
If you could give them one tip in any one of those 4 areas, what do you think the tip would be?
Well, my tip would actually be different, Norm, depending on what phase they were in. But my biggest tip is the more connected that someone can stay to their why. I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek and his Start With Why Work. And I really use that with my clients. There are several common traps that entrepreneurs fall in that, of course, we're now helping navigate. But it is so easy to get sucked into the day-to-day and the crisis and the urgency of the moment that they lose a sense of perspective. And it's when you're able to help pull back, remember why you're doing what you're doing, think more long-term, become more proactive and less reactive, that I think business owners and entrepreneurs are at their best. So, it's certainly not terribly unique or the first time people are going to hear that, but just that reminder that there's a reason that you're doing what you're doing, and it's not just to function day to day, for all of those hours just in crisis management or day-to-day stuff. But it's really connecting with that bigger picture of why you started doing what you're doing in the first place.
Okay, good. Great interview. Good tip, too. That was Blain Wease. He's with Provincial Development Group. For For more information about Blain and his company, please check out the show notes for this episode on our website.